What's going on, guys? It's Brandon from Audio Addiction. I am behind the camera because obviously, as you can tell, there's not a lot of space here. But we have the home team with us. They can say their names and what they do in the band.
Hey, I'm Daniel. I play drums.
I'm Ryan. I play bass.
I'm John. I play guitar.
I am Brian. I sing. Nubian, huh?
Yeah. Well, the last time I had you guys on, I'm almost positive you were in my backyard at where I used to
I am
live.
completely positive that
It is
we were in your
completely
backyard.
positive, but it was a great experience, and you guys, a lot has changed. I'm curious, guys, because you released Slow Bloom in that time period. How has that reception been? I will say personally for myself, slight bias, but it was one of my favorite albums of last year.
Right on.
Arguably,
Thank you, dog.
no Johns.
I mean,
Johns, guys.
Ultimately, the reception has been greater than we could have imagined.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, when we were writing it, there was no doubt in our minds that this was the best thing we had created. Like, we like Better Off. We like it holds a special place in our heart.
Sure.
But no doubt, Slow Bloom is a way better representation of us as musicians
I agree.
and the music that we actually listen to and like and want to create. And again, like, Better Off has its pop punk anthems,
Sure.
but
Yeah.
ultimately Slow Bloom is something that we didn't imagine making, and we're so happy that we stumbled upon the sound that I think a lot of people. I think it's really gelled with a lot of people, which is phenomenal for any band to experience.
yeah.
So yeah, it's been fantastic.
What about you guys?
You know, I'm thrilled to say that I think with Slow Bloom, it was probably the first time in my life where this sounds kind of corny, but I was like, we were writing for ourselves.
Sure,
We weren't writing necessarily for like people, and I know that might sound kind of selfish, but it was kind of like, this is what we want to do, and we're going to create our art, and I
Yeah.
hope that people enjoy what we create.
Sure thing.
And the reception has been just way higher and better than I could have ever expected. So I think a lot of people can pick up on authenticity. That
Sure,
it's like
yeah.
this weird spidey sense everybody's got.
I got it.
So yeah, exactly. So like people are like, oh shit, that's what they want to be doing.
Yeah,
so it's
yeah,
really
yeah.
cool, man.
I think that the reception was really positive because we didn't write a pop punk record,
I agree.
and we
yeah.
were a pop punk band.
Yeah.
So I think we all had that little bit of nervousness, being like, we're not really giving the people what they want. Like, we had some fans, not a lot, but we had some fans, and they're probably expecting a pop punk record. So there was a
Fair
little bit
enough.
of apprehension, being
Yeah.
like, are those same fans who like Better Off going to like Slow Bloom? And I feel like there's definitely some people who are gonna be like, Better Off is far and away the best work, but most of the reception has been great. And they're wrong. They're wrong. Completely incorrect.
wrong.
But you know.
They're wrong, but entitled to their opinion.
Yeah, I think we just had a pretty massive step up,
Yeah,
like
I would agree.
just cohesively as not just as musicians, but like as friends.
Sure, yeah.
And I think it's very obvious that the sound in Slow Bloom is like pretty much the same band all the way through.
I would
think
agree,
With
yeah.
Better Off, it was 2 songs written by one guy, 3 songs written by one guy, and so you can kind of tell it's not super cohesive. It's just like Brian sings over all of them.
Sure, yeah.
True, but
does play
nobody
drums
can
overall.
tell. You can tell my style. No one else can. But Slow Bloom was like much more cohesive as a project from start to finish because we all wrote it, like we wrote the whole thing together.
That's awesome. Yeah.
You know, we also had a singular vision. Like we were like, it just like sort of clicked with all of us. Like this is what we should be doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like how you hold the mic for me. Yeah, I think that's about it though.
Yeah, and I do feel like there was just, I think from listening to Better Off and really loving that record, and obviously meeting you guys through that album, I have a lot of, personal, like, love for that album.
Yeah.
But then I listened to Slow Boom, and I was just like, you were already at here, and it's like, you took it all the way up to the next level.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
And to me, it was, like, different in the sense that, like, I feel like you guys didn't cop out on anything. It was just, like, it was a very true record to what you guys were doing, and you really just handled the transition well, because I feel like some bands have a problem of transitioning, and I feel like that's quite a jump. Like, it's definitely more, like, it's got, like, a little bit more, like, R&B, a little soul, like, it's got some, like, funk in there, and, like, there's different elements that make that album interesting, and one that I continually come back to because I think just, like, the way that the songwriting and the way that the hooks are just, like, I would argue, a lot stronger in this album than in Better Off, and I already have a lot of love for that album collectively. So it's cool to see that you guys are, amplifying that, but also like having like an 8-string guitar and just like fucking wailing at it. So, in terms of like the writing process, like how long have you guys kind of been working on songs like this that were on Slow Bloom, where you guys wanted? I imagine you guys were like, okay, for the next album, we're gonna do something different. And
Yeah,
this is
no
what it
doubt.
is.
So like, I mean, we had demos that dated back to like 2018, 2019. Like we had ideas for the next record, but nothing super cohesive until we wrote Move It or Lose It. And Move It or
Yeah.
Lose It was the first demo where we said, "Yo, we should do this. Like
Sure,
this
yeah.
is a really cool sound." And by then we hadn't written Right Through Me. We hadn't written Slow Bloom. Like there was so many songs to be had from there, and the songs that we wrote before Move It or Lose It still made it on the record. Like I want to say Another Night Alone with You was a demo from before.
Nice.
Scary Movies was a demo from before. But I think Move It or Lose It really paved the way for the rest of the album. And yeah, Right Through Me was right after that, and then Watching Our Friends Get Rich was next, and then we did pretty much the rest of the album beyond that.
Grievance
Yeah,
Pains?
Grievance Bay was really, really early.
Oh, wow,
Too. Yeah,
okay,
no,
okay.
that was one that we had written and recorded, but the reason we withheld it was because we kind of felt like the vibe was not quite the same as the rest
it's a
of the
lot
record.
heavier,
It's a
yeah.
lot heavier. It's different, and we're probably not going to pursue that sound
Sure.
anymore. But we wanted to release that just because it was a cool like little dive into something that we're entertaining
Sure,
for a little bit. Yeah, and so no, but like yeah, I would say late 2019 is when we really started to hit the stride of writing Slow Bloom, and early 2020 and even into mid 2020 is when we wrote some of the best songs on that record, I think.
I would agree.
Yeah, and then we recorded it in summer of 2020. Right.
Anyone else? John, I guess for you more specifically, when did you think like, let me just add an 8-string into some of the heavier songs?
So this is an interesting thing. So obviously, like we all got love for heavy metal
Sure.
culture, heavy metal
Sure.
music. But the reality is, like, I didn't think about adding an 8-string until I was listening to a lot of funk and a lot of like,
okay, yeah.
a lot of hip hop in general too. Like even a lot of the very modern stuff.
Mhm.
A lot of this, like the bass parts, are like on this crazy low registry. And I remember listening to I think I was probably listening to Future, and I was like, man, but what if like you took a guitar and put it in that same sort of like
Mhm, yeah.
registry? Yeah, oh, brother, man, what have you done?
5-string bass.
Yeah, 5-string bass came in. I just noticed like a lot of funk, a lot of hip hop. It was all in 5-string bass. It's like, well, why can't we just push it with an 8-string guitar as well? And I think it has a really cool sonic sound.
Sure, yeah, I'd agree.
I'm not a wizard at guitar or anything like
I don't
that. I
know.
just really felt
That's
that like
debatable.
it's really cool to hear that sort of a because traditionally 8-string guitar is kind of reserved for heavy music or like
Yeah.
crazy shred dudes.
Sure,
and
sure.
It's like it's just cool to use it and apply it in a place that is not traditionally used.
Sure, yeah, I agree. But yeah, I think that there's a nice balance of like having that sort of like pop sensibility, but then also like when you get into like Right Through Me and it has that like big break, you're like, oh shit, okay, now they're using it as more of a like dynamic piece rather than to be like, okay, let me just make this really heavy, man, like and just like
Exactly.
throw it down. So I love that. You guys are currently on tour and we're recording this live at the Real Friends tour. How has that been? I did ask Ryan off camera about that, but how has that how's that tour been for you guys? I know it's a little early on, but how's it been touring?
It's already been phenomenal. I mean, we've already done 9 days of this tour, and so we're in it.
Yeah, yeah.
We've definitely felt what it feels like to be on this tour, and like, dude, as a band that grinded so many DIY headliners to nobody, and you were there.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I was there. I was very much there. Yep.
Yep.
In the thick of it,
You were
baby.
one of, you were one of the 7 people in the
OG,
crowd.
yeah. Oh my God.
But dude, as a band that has grinded like 15 plus tours like that, it is really, really rad to be able to go out and experience something like this too.
Yeah, yeah.
And what's nice is that now we're doing it at a time in our career where we do have people singing back
Yeah, it's
the
great.
lyrics,
Oh,
which
yeah.
it's one thing to be an up and coming band on a tour where you're exposing your music to a lot of different people that have
Yeah.
never heard of you. Like that's obviously cool.
Sure, yeah.
But in my opinion, it's been really, really validating to play our music for a split crowd.
Yeah.
Like a bunch of people who have already heard us and are screaming along to the vocals,
Yeah.
and a bunch of people who have never heard us and are seeing those other people screaming along to the vocals.
Yeah.
And it all like if I were in that position, and I feel like I've been in that position before, where I see a band that's just up and coming and has fans, but they're not,
They're not
most,
big. Yeah,
right?
I
They're not
got you.
huge.
Yeah.
And so I feel like I've been in that position where I'm like, wow, they got people who really give a shit. Like,
Who really cares?
yeah, I kind of want to be a part of this.
Yeah.
And I really, really hope that that's what's happening on this tour. I
That's
feel like it is, because we're getting a lot of people coming up and saying like, never seen you guys crushed it.
Yeah.
Like, which is so fucking amazing. And that's, I think, been the coolest part of this tour, is just seeing the dichotomy of the two crowds.
Sure.
Yeah.
What about you guys? John, Dan, Ryan? Let's go.
For me, this tour is super surreal because I actually just made an Instagram post about this. 8 years ago, I was just like some shithead 19-year-old kid watching Real Friends at Warped Tour, like trying to pull my local band out of the gutter.
Sure,
And
yeah.
now I'm a shithead 27-year-old kid on tour with Real
Hell
Friends.
yeah.
It's come full
You're still a
circle.
shithead.
Finish. I was like, I'm gonna crack that fucking joke.
Yeah,
Got him.
Brian said everything I was thinking.
Got him.
He did it already.
Yeah, and I feel like, for like you said, Brian, like for me, it's like I've known you guys for probably well over like 5 years now at this point, and seeing like, and I even made a Instagram post about how, like, to me, being an interviewer and seeing bands grow and actually seeing a band that I've like loved and seen over the years actually fucking do something really sick, that warms my heart. So I for me, it's like such a cool experience, and anytime that I can share this band with someone, because I feel like you guys hit that perfect stride point of like, you have some songs that are just like really like heavy, but then you also have songs that are like real pop, like real like funk, like soul influence, and people like that stuff. And I'm just like, if you want just kind of like a good mix of everything, this is a band to check out. Speaking about seeing you guys live, what is your favorite song to perform live? Because you guys brought the energy tonight. For
My favorite song to play live has historically been Right Through Me.
Well, you good?
You all right? My favorite song has historically been Right Through Me. 'Cause I just think that's like one of the best songs we've put out, and super high energy live. But lately it's been Slow Bloom, because there's like, coming out of the bridge into the last chorus, there's like a super sick fill that ends into a like a obnoxious 2008 metalcore 808. That's
Yeah.
just like, I can see it in people's faces when we hit that.
Yep.
That they're like,
whoa!
exactly.
Yeah.
So that's been my favorite.
That was me too. Just want to confirm.
Slow Bloom, definitely my favorite.
Ooh, all right.
I hate to be that guy too. I love Slow Bloom so much. Man.
Wow, we 3 for 3. Baby.
All right.
Let's see what's Brian gonna say.
Slow Bloom.
Wow, 4 for 4, baby.
God. All of us fucking love playing that song. It's Slow Bloom, and second place is On. I really like playing On live.
I was gonna say On was fucking nuts.
Nice.
That was such a.
We
great
don't always
song,
play
too.
it.
That was That was great. Last thing, guys, tell them where they can find the home team at. Obviously, on social media, what you guys have
Sure.
coming up after this.
At the Home Team on Instagram, at the Home Team _ on TikTok, at the Home Team NW on Twitter. Woo! I got it all.
Wow, Brian's killing it.
I don't know about the Facebook though. Nobody gives a shit about Facebook anymore.
Nobody gives a shit about Facebook.
There you go. No one gives a shit
Sweet.
about Facebook. You heard it here first. Anyway, please go take a look, go listen, go see the home team. Again, they've been on the channel before, so you already know they're a legit band that you need to go give a listen.
Thanks,
All the
man.
links will be in the description. If you want to listen to the audio version of that, that'll also be on Spotify, Apple Music, any podcasting service you use. It's going to be on there. So huge
Sweet.
thanks to the guys for coming on and doing a quick chat with me.
Peace out.